There we go. I think I'm live now. I've never actually tried schedule broadcasts before. Huh, huh, huh. Interesting. Oh, I'm live. Okay, cool. I am live. So what are we going to do today is, let me see the description real quick. In the description, I said something. I'm sorry. In the description, I said something about so we'll have to add settings for the individual servers so that we can. So once I start implement automatic crawling, it'll be like you can subscribe to endpoints so that you can subscribe to authors, you can subscribe to series, you can subscribe to publications, you can imprints, like every type of category is where there's books in an OPDS feed. The idea is that you can subscribe to that no matter what it is. Um, so yeah, that's the idea. And once we've done that, I think we need to figure out. So there's something where the newest feed is broken in my app specifically. So I think I need to look at that. But yeah, I'm also going to revamp how the books are imported into the app. I think the newest page and the book import would happen simultaneously, so to speak. Um, Warning, the stream current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So the main focus probably should be revamping how the books are imported into the app, but I want to get this subscription thing out of the way first. So let's, oh yeah, and then I wrote, if time permits, add support for Spotlight search of books. Should that be for books? I'm actually not too sure on that. But like the idea is, so if I quickly start a simulator, um, so you know how in iOS, like when you open Spotlight, so when you open Spotlight, uh, you can write, yeah, you can search on the internet in your contacts, blah blah blah. So like, I what does this actually have from there? Okay, so like you could search for say John Appleseed, if I could type, and then hmm, Apple, yeah. So you could search for Appleseed, and then it would show up here, right? So the idea is to also, if time permits, integrate this with the apps. So if we have, say, hitchhikers, hitchhikers. So if we say you're searching for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and you have it in the on one of your OPDS servers that you've connected to the app, it should just show up here. That's the idea. So let's just see how does the app look currently. So we have this books list, which is actually this thing, But the issue is it's an empty view. We can also add servers, and we have local host here. There's nothing interesting in here. That's what I'm going to fix. But if we then go back, we can add servers. That's all the functionalities of the app. There is some encode actually. If you see one of the earlier streams, you'll see that there is also um, like it can pass feeds of the OPDS servers, and it can also, what else can it do? It can also, it can actually download, but once the book has been downloaded, it doesn't get treated. So it'll be deleted whenever the operating system decides that it's time to delete the book. Let me quickly, I'm sorry, let me quickly change the language of the OS because that would make it so much easier for everybody involved. At some point, I do plan to add localization, at least for languages I do understand. I'm also hoping that I can potentially pay somebody to do something interesting. Dark appearance. I'm sorry. So yeah, let's go into here. And let's make a new entity. Call it endpoint. Is that not how? Oh, okay, cool. An endpoint is part of a server, right? And the destination is, of course, server, and it is no inverse. Let me quickly core data relation. Oh. Yeah. Core data allows us to link entities together. Oh, this is, by the way, hacking with Swift. It's owned and operated by Paul Hudson, who is, by the way, I use his resources all the time, and I absolutely, oh, I'm sorry, and I absolutely, oh Christ, I'm so sorry. Anyways, I absolutely do owe a lot of my at least iOS and Swift development skills to hacking with Swift. Another website that I also very much like is the one called Swift by Sandel. Excellent, excellent resource for learning Swift, and there's a few others like I think he's called Nacht. Hmm, in Swift. Yeah, that's not the one. But anyways, Swift Python though absolutely excellent resources on Swift UI, concurrency, generics, and unit testing. I'll get into unit testing at some point, but not now. Concurrency, the app always already does some async await. But that I'll look that into later, and I will look into that later. Currently, we need to set up this. Okay. Core data allows us to link entities together using relationships, and when we use fetch request, which we do in SwiftUI, core data sends all that data back to us for use. However, this is one area where core data shows its age a little. To get relationships to work well, we need to make a custom NS managed object subclass that provides wrappers that are more friendly to SwiftUI. Oh man. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. To demonstrate this, we're going to build two core data entities, one to track candy bars and one to track countries where those bars comes from. Relationship come in four forms. A one-to-one relationship means that one object in an entity links to exactly one other object in another entity. In our example, this would mean that each type of candy has one country of origin, and each country could make only one type of candy. A one-to-many relationship means that one object in an entity links to many objects in another entity. In our example, this would mean that one type of candy could have been introduced simultaneously in many countries, but that each country still could only make one type of candy. Yeah, that seems like an issue. A many-to-one relationship means that many objects in an entity links to one object in another entity. In our example, this would mean that each type of candy has one country of origin and that each country can make many types of candy. A many-to-many relationship means that many objects in an entity link to many objects in another entity. In our example, this would mean that one type of candy had been introduced simultaneously in many countries, and each country can make many types of candy. All of these are used different times, but in our candy example, the many-to-many relationship makes the most sense. Each type of candy was invented in a single country, but each country can have invented many types of candy. So open your data model, add two entities, candy with string attribute called name and country with string attribute called full name and short name. Although some types of candy have the same names, see Smarties in the US and the UK, countries are definitely unique, so please add a constraint for shortening. Hang on. Huh. So which one is American? Interesting. Let me grab some water. So anyways, don't worry if you've forgotten how to add constraints. Select the country entity, go to view, menu, select inspector. I don't plan to add constraints. Though one constraint could be friendly name and another could be host. Didn't I add that? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I added constraints to the host name. Oh, this absolutely should not be optional. All of the rest, sure, whatever. But host, no way. You don't need any attributes at all. I only need a server. Ooh, parent entity. Parent entity core data. As long as you're okay. There we go. That's not optional. Destination, so delete to 1 to many. Oh, and then if I add endpoint, that's going to be endpoint. Too many. Path, and path is going to be a string. Right, save. There it is. I need to fix this at some point. It's specifically this, but that's not now. So Sheet opens settings, and settings is its own file, right? Yeah. And once you click that, your destination is server. Interesting. Let's start by getting the endpoints. Endpoints is a view which has a fetch request. Can I? I'm gonna turn off the canvas real quick. I'm gonna turn off this real quick. So the live stream, everything looks fine actually. How long have I been live? 20 minutes. That's fine. It absolutely could be worse. Who? Someone already liked. That's nice. That's really nice. Thank you, whoever did that. Anyways, fetch request sort descriptor. Give me nothing. I don't care. var endpoints. That's really bad naming, but yeah, whatever. Fetch result. I should actually go ahead and. So how do you do that? You do it here. Okay. Endpoint model, right? Body subview. And let's just do a list, right? List endpoints points. And then text out path. Okay, let's compile. So you need to bear over with a poor audio experience while I set up everything. But I am seemingly back. I'm setting stuff up. I am seemingly back. Okay. I am back to having my other microphone. But let's see if it's the same stream as. It seemingly is. Okay, cool. Cool. So it seems I'm back to where I need to be. What is this unknown attribute fetch request? It's just right here. Should I? Why is this with capital L's? Okay, build again. Unknown attribute. Okay, and if I compile, incorrect labeling. Okay, and if I compile, cannot find endpoints in scope. It's right here. Yeah, what's the difference? You know what? If there is no string, crash the app because then something bad has happened. All right, so let's check how the memory situation is going. It is fine. Okay, cool. Then I'm going to start a simulator. Like, I have 4 apps open. It should be fine. I have Xcode, I have Safari, I have OBS. Maybe I should use some other streaming software. Maybe I need to set up another streaming system entirely. I really want to know what it is that makes my computer crash, because it's not the first time, right? So clean my Mac. Takes a lot of processor power. That's not good. So yeah, anyways. What is this even? Audio expunged. Oh, right, so let's see. All right. So add servers, localhost, servers. Okay, cool. If it's because I misspelled. If endpoints that count is more than 0, right? Give me a list of all endpoints. Otherwise, else, right? Give me a text that just says no endpoints. Sad smiley face. Right? Then indent stuff properly. And here, right? I am going to endpoints. I'm pretty sure this is lazy, so it's not going to do anything before you click it. There is a trick in Swift to do that. It's actually pretty nifty. I want this to be live chat. Okay. Right. Then compile and run. Yeah, replace, sure, whatever. Okay, books. Cool. And add books, localhost, and then it should say no endpoints. Cool. Next. How do I fetch it from the So I think what I need to do is I need to make a custom initializer. And the initializer in question takes a server of type server model, right? And so the endpoints, notice the underscore. It's because I am accessing the attribute itself, not the body, if that makes sense. So the endpoint is going to take a fetch result and the server is going to be server. Fetch result cannot be constructed because it has no accessible initializers. That seems like an issue, right? So what we are going to do is we're going to say that it's endpoint model, right? And then what initializers do we actually have? We don't. That's because it needs to be fetch result. Right. Okay. So what initializers do we actually have? We have entity, which I have no idea what it means. Sort descriptor, I don't need that. Predicate. Animation, right? So NS fetch request, I don't know what that means. I must admit, I have absolutely no idea how to use this. But what I'm thinking we are going to do is let's play with predicate, okay? So the thing is, we don't need entity. We don't need animation. We do need sorts of descriptor, but that we can just ignore. Predicate, none. Oh. Coda, nah, I can use that for nothing. Some, oh, it's because it's a an optional. Okay, that makes sense. Value, create and returns a predicate that always evaluates to a specific Boolean value. I don't need that. Implemented by subclasses to initialize a new object. What? Plug any string any flat map. Oh, and then you give it self. Huh. And then it returns a. I actually did not know about that about optional. That's incredibly interesting. Nil, I don't need that. Publisher? What? Copy? That? Okay. Evaluate. Evaluate map. Okay, let's see what Paul has to say here. Country, candy array. So what? Can I? So what does server model.element have? That's result. Okay, cool. Yikes. Jump to definition. There is none. Okay, jump to the page you're looking for. Great, of course. Okay, server dot friendly name host username endpoint there, and that's an NS set. Great. NS set of what? NS set of what? I don't understand this at all. Public var candy array. Okay. So please add this computer property to country now. Let set equals. Oh. Okay. So in model, I am going to add a Swift file called server plus endpoints, right? It is going to be an extension of server model, okay? I'm just going to jack this. It is going to be endpoints, right? It's going to have endpoint model. it is then going to have endpoint model. Let's set as endpoint endpoint, just straight up like that. Return sorted dot path dot path, right? Cannot find endpoint in scope. So what do we have? Self dot endpoint. Do 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 do. Blah 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 blah. Do do, right? And this also what? Let's call this endpoint array. Endpoints is fine. I am then going to call this in the server. I'm going to call this endpoint relation. Endpoint relation, and then compile. Build failed. What's the, cannot find server in scope. It's, oh, server in, I don't know. You let endpoints be an array of endpoint model. And here, endpoints, just like that. Build fail, incorrect. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Let me just do a cheeky little VStack. And underneath this, I'm going to have a text. Please add some winky face, right? And then let's run it, okay? And also let's remember to monitor this. Okay, Xcode is taking a lot. Safari is taking a lot. I really don't like how much Safari takes. It really does not need to take that much memory. Does it? At least there's no processors going rogue right now. Like the most intense processor is OPDS, and that's fine for now at least. Okay, so books, right? Localhost, right? Please add some winky face. Okay, cool. So far, so good. All right. So what we are going to do here is we are going to make a func actually, what is a list? I just realized I have absolutely no idea. Show quick help and then open in developer documentations. Okay, so if I make this into a list, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Why does this do this Is it because it's a form? Is it because it's a navigation view? Um, I can see it's 8:45 right now. So I'm going to work another quarter. I'm going to turn you back into a VStack because that's an app animation if I've ever seen any. I need to figure out what I need to do from here, right? So I, at the very least, need a VStack, right? And then at the end of this VStack, I need to have a button, right? This button needs the text add endpoint. And actually, it's going to be a navigation link. And the navigation link is going to have the text that says exactly what I just wrote, right? And then a destination that is, I already have a label. Can I just have my entire view here, like this? And then do like this. I already have that. Boom. And the destination is going to be text field. For now, I know what we're going to do at some point is going to add this backend, kinda, right? But for now, let's have it browse endpoints, maybe some navigation title being like endpoints, whatever, right? Let's run it and see how it is. It's probably going to be hideous because I'm not a designer. But let's just try it and then add endpoint. Oh, it's actually not too bad. It is absolutely not too bad. I am enamored. Is that the word? Enamored. I'm impressed. I absolutely am impressed. Okay. So we are going to take the logic from here, like this logic, right? We're going to take that. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to rewrite it, okay? Okay. I am going to rewrite it. But how am I going to rewrite it? I'm not going to use this at all. I'm going to use the feed, but that's it, okay? I'm going to use the feed. And how I'm going to do that, settings, okay? So I'm going to call it feed browser. Struct, right, feed browser. View, okay? And then I am going to have a body, body, some view, right? I'm going to have some state in this feed browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a feed in the feed browser. That makes sense, right? Feed. And I'm also going to have a title, but I might be able to take that from the feed itself. Let me actually, you know what, empty view. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's go to the feed. Feed is a codable and it has entries. That's it. And entries has an ID, a title, an updated, a content, and a link. Okay, so I'm going to have the title from here. Let title be a string. Is it a proper string or is it a, yeah, it's a proper string. Okay, cool. So once we have that, let's just add title. And navigation title is the title, right? Cannot find feed in scope. That's because it's part of OPDS. OPDS, right? So if we compile, go. But here's the thing, right? What does every feed have? We just saw. It has a list of entries, right? And entries have a content which is, yeah, okay. So what does every feed have? Every feed have entries. So let's make a list of the entries, right? What's this going to be? This is going to be a navigation link. Let's start with the label. That's the easy part. It's actually not, but I mean, it might be. Entry in, right? And the text will then be the entry dot link. No, the entry dot text. What? The entry dot title. There it is. But where will this take us? One might ask. So it'll take us into the feed browser. And the feed will, for now, let's just have it be self-feed. And the title will be entry.title. See, that's where this comes in. So it gets down here. So the idea is, if you remember my old implementation, let's get this implemented before I end stream. So if you remember my old implementation, this will be maybe, you know what? Maybe this should be a state. Yeah, it absolutely should be a state. Add state bar, right? Then it should be, because then we have a let path be string, and then we have a task. So instead of this, we have a path that it's easier to work with. Can you see where we're going with this? Like, we are absolutely going somewhere. Um, so the path is going to actually be the entry, the link, as you can see. Why are you complaining? Why are you complaining? I'll find that out later. So what we then can do is we can have as async. We can have a task. What's it called? That I think. Creating and combining view. State and data flow, right? App state. Gestures. Async loading in Swift UI. That should be something. I'm pretty sure that was something. Asynchronously load data. Right. So add published, right? Yeah. This is not at all what I wanted. I want a. Was that a fever dream? Async wait. No. Dynamic list and checklist. Main X. I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that. It's not on up here. Mm. Oh, it doesn't let me click that one. It doesn't let me click any of those. Yo, what? DuckDuckGo doesn't want me to know. I don't need async with view. That's handling loading, but I'm pretty sure there is some way to handle this. I am so absolutely positively sure there is some way to handle this. But why can I not find it? Oh, yeah. It's using new features. Yeah, but I need, you know what? Async await Swift UI should help, right? Oh, that's something here. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Private search. Yeah. Exactly. Published bar. Why do I need to have it unappear task? I was certain it was task. But it told me it's not. So when was this published? It was published early on. So this is May. That should help. Oh, it is task still. Okay. So what are you complaining about? Requires that conforms to identifiable, and it does not. Well, come to definition. Identifiable, that requires an ID, and that is an ID, right? Going for this, right? Okay, missing argument for parameter. Oh, but okay. So what's the issue now? Cannot convert to. Oh, what is a link then? Jump to definition. That didn't help. So a link is a. Okay. So what did I do with those? Who calls this? Show caller, show caller, show caller. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so I know content view has something in here. Username. Yeah, that's not what I need. Didn't I have a server view? What happened to that? I deleted it. Oh, that's server bar. Server, content view, preview. Oh, server view. If there is a feed, right? For each entry, I should have used list here. For each entry, hstack cover. What is cover? Oh, okay. So when is load called? Load is called down here. And what is feed URL? Feed URL is this. Okay. So if let, right. So that's what I'm going to do. Gauntlet might have made more sense. Godlet might very much have made more sense, but this is what we're going with for now. Right. So if let feed UL entries link first, right? So this is the feed UL. Oh, sorry. Give me feed UL dot href, right? I should probably do some matching instead of this. Like type feed is all I need, okay? Application / add some XML and type feed. All I need. Like this profile, nah. But now we need some task, right? So we have the feed, and task is executed when adds an async task to perform when the view appears. Okay. Use this modifier to perform some asynchronous task with a lifetime that matches that of the view modifier. If the task doesn't finish before SwiftUI removes the view, or the view changes identifies SwiftUI cancels the task. Okay. I should do some caching, but that I have to wait. Right. But now that we have the path, I think we also need the server. That server equals server model. Point. And you just going to accept this. Oh, server is going to be server. That makes sense. I am then going to make a class called OPDS feeder. Right. Currently, it does nothing. But what I needed, actually, what I need this to do is have a hold of the server. I am a genius. Let feeder equals OPDS feeder. And then I'm just going to pass that along. OPDS feeder, right? Cannot convert. Because then I'm just going to, it has no initializer. Server model self.server equals server. Load. Func load. And what are you going to take? You are going to take the path. Load at path, and path is going to just be the string. You are going to be async, possibly throwing. And you are going to return an OPDS feed. And then let's just say abort because it's not implemented yet. Yeah, I mean throws. Fix. Oh. Right, okay. So the thing is, we are going to try. And just feeder the load, add path. It is truly that simple. And in reality, we actually don't need it anymore, but invalid conversion from throwing function of type. Anyways, oh, do. Okay, so we'll do like feed equals try. Oh, wait. Invalid conversion of throwing function of type sendable. You know what? Can I try await and then catch? Do I have logger here? No. Private let logger equals logger. Catch logger.error. Error fetching feed. And what's it called? What are you called? I am it's OS. And it's going to comma. No exact match. Oh, no exact match. That localized description. All right. Actually, that should be it for the feed browser, I think. Because like when you click this, it'll just go and go and go and go and go until you at some point hit a dead end, right? Um, but the thing is, we haven't implemented it down here. So that's what we are going to do now. I think you have to be, I'm so sorry, I don't want you to be, but I think you have to be an observable object. I don't want you to be one. but I think you have to be one. But that also means that you can be an environment object. Environment object. And then we actually don't need this. Boom! Haha. So you're going, whatever. That also means you can be private. Private. You certainly are going to be private. And same to you. I don't want any other places to modify you. Also, you should probably be private too. Yeah. So what we're going to do here is going to be that. OPDS Peter, where the server is a server. Do you actually return? Yeah, you return the view. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's very good. Also, I found out you can actually do this. Um, uh, and let's do it like this. Add some spacing so it's easier to read. Remember half an hour ago when I said that I should end in a quarter? Yeah. What happened to that? Absolutely nothing. Next. So why do I use an environment object? That is so I don't need to path it down every single time. Like the only thing that that's going to change between views is the path itself and the title. The rest is going to be, yeah, you know. Also, it's going to pass through the endpoint, and that's the most important part for me, right? I am going to change this again. Because I'm not going to do anything fancy. I am then going to see, this is the fancy thing. Free browser, right? I am then here going to actually do it. Path. It usually starts with /OPDS. It usually does, but we don't actually know. And the title itself is going to be, and what the title is going to be. Let's just have it be rude. It's not a good idea. So that's this. I guess reading it isn't harmful. There we go. But now's the issue. When I access this, it's going to crash immediately. But let's try. Let's see what actually happens. And we're also going to have that error right there. Add server, localhost, add endpoint. Boom, there we go. But that's fine. No, that's not what I want. So what does this say for, okay, fatal error, no observable object of type OPDS reader found. A view environment object for OPDS feeder may be missing as an ancestor of this view. Oh no. But it's right here. Hmm. Settings, game state object. There are several important parts I want to pick out in that code. Just like state object, all classes used with environment object must conform to observable object protocol. I've already done that. We put game settings into the environment for the navigation view, which means all view inside the navigation view can read that object if they want it, as well as any view that gets shown by the navigation view. That makes sense. When you use an environment object property wrapper, you declare the type of thing you expect to receive, but you do not create it. You expect it to receive it from the environment. After all, I knew that. Because our detail view is shown inside the navigation view, it will get access to the same environment, which in turn means it can read the game settings object we created. That's the point. Warning: now that our views rely on an environment object being present, it's important that you also update your preview code to provide some example setting. For example, using, if you need to add multiple objects to the environment, you should add multiple modifiers. Just call them one after another. So we do agree, right? Okay, does he have some parentheses? No. So if I add it to here, because that's not how it should crash. It should crash somehow else, right? Fatal, no observable object of time, OPDS feeder. A view.environment object for OPDS feeder may be missing as an ancestor of this view. Right, subview, and then yeah, that looks good. I think you should pass setting object to flashcard in settings as well. Try this. Destination settings. That's not how it works. But it already is, right? You're not answering. Mm-hmm. I'm running in simulator, and in my case, the error was about my environment object navigation controller. It was resolved by modifying with this. Yo, none of this helps. Okay, so let's see here. State object, and you even pass it in like properly. I've not checked everything, but why don't you declare it? And mayhaps this changes. Can I use that as? Is it because it's private? What if I make it public? Add server, localhost, add endpoint, and then it crashes. Maybe missing an ancestor of this view. So what? Like seriously, what? It's right here, right? So let's jump to definition. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. And I cannot close it. Okay. Now what I want is to open the documentation and say environment object, right? Yeah, that doesn't help at all. Right, a property wrap type. Dynamic property implementations. Interesting. Uh, state flow, handling using. Is this under state and data flow? Yeah, it is. State model, managing models. Okay, okay. So here we have it published. Okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. Observable object, right? Right. State object. State object. Give me something about environment objects. Okay, what if we do this? It's not going to be pretty, but what if we do this? Published. Da, da, da. Fuck it. I cannot get it to work, so I'm not even going to bother. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do this. Feeder Peter. I wanted it to work so stinking bad. I'm not even joking. Let server be server model. And then I'm going to construct a feeder from here. Feeder dot init and server. All right. And then here, all right. Then let me try that again. Replace. I don't use O on here. Add server, localhost, add endpoint, abort. Yes. So what we can do now is we can crypt this entire code. Boom. 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 And of course, we're going to have a logger. Private log, private let logger equals logger. Okay. Okay. Cannot find URL in scope. We don't need URL. Relative to server.host. Else throw no URL. Okay. Debugger working on. Yeah. Data response. Yeah. If MC. I'm also going to crypt pair. I am going to import XML coder. So here's the issue. OPDS. Right. Cannot find login in scope. Return server password username server password. Oh, okay. Let cred equals URL credential. Server username server password persistence. Position, whatever. Then return cred. Reference to property. Okay. Return feed. Oh. No call throw function occur within try expression. Oh. All right, let's run. In theory, this should work just fine. Like localhost, endpoint, and then nothing. Absolute jack shit. Okay, that's fine. So let's start from here. Oh wait, let's actually see if could not connect to the server. Okay, add endpoint, right? So dash OPDS. We also have self, right? Self has a server, which is after. Right, so now we have a working URL, which is what does that even mean? Clients reserved? What does that even mean? Okay, let's see here what you have to say. So I have it up here. So path is path and relative to base URL. It's all about the base, about the base, about the base. It's all about the base. So that should be okay. Let me. Right. Next line. Next line. And then that's kind of where it crashes. Oh, it's because it's localhost. Okay. Right, so I'm going to actual server. Hardware. There we go. Add server. Okay, there we go. So I just added a new server off screen. So let's add endpoints. And then next. So next. Oh, there we have it. So we can then, yeah. But by newest crashes, right? Why does it crash? Why? So it's right here. Error, the data couldn't be read because it is missing. And then, like with contents of, and then the data makes no sense. So if we go back, we remove this, all right? So we can then say go by title. Oh, by title doesn't work either. By authors? Okay, so by authors works. Let me see if the authors here all say so. Actually, let's not. So let's go by series, then by A, and then Hammer-Bream. So here there's going to be absolutely nothing because there's only going to be books. That's going to be the next thing that we're going to be focusing on. But yeah, now we can browse for the most part. But yeah, the issue is there's going to be no books at all. So that's the next thing that we need to fix up. But I'm already 41 minutes further than I planned to be. So I'm gonna have to end it here. And then next time we're going to do some parsing of the books. Like they're the same thing as the feeds. So the reason they don't show up here is because I only want where is it? Where is it? Here. So I only want it when the type matches this. That's when I want it to show up, right? I also want to have it so I can edit the server in here. But again, that's for another time. So like series, H, Harry Potter, and then it should show my single Harry Potter book here. That's going to be next week. Properly parsing the book. And I think I'll use the entry type for that, maybe. No. Let's actually see what does entry do. Entries. Okay, so they have an ID, they have a title, updated content, and then type. Okay. So that's why I'm going to look for if it's a book or etc. etc. I kind of want to do it now, but I also kind of want to have something to do for next week. So the idea is then, yeah. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.